بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، صلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا وإمامنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد, we reach here أثر number 149. حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا وكيع قال حدثني المنذر بن ثعلبة عن علباء قال علي عليه السلام: من يشتري مني علما بدرهم، أو علباء بكسر أوله وسكون اللام بعدها موحدة، وهو بن أحمر اليشكري البصري وتابعي ثقة، وكذلك سائر الإسناد ثقات، فهو صحيح إن كان علباء سمعوا من علي فإنهم لم يذكروا له عنه روايتين. Author number 149 is very similar to 148. It was narrated from Waki' from al-Munzir ibn Tha'laba from Ilba, who reported from Ali radiallahu anhu, who said, "Who will purchase knowledge from me for 1 dirham? Who will purchase some knowledge from me for 1 dirham?" Obviously, there are issues with regards to saying alayhi salam specifically in front of the name of Ali radiallahu anhu, and it's not necessarily haram to say alayhi salam for other than a prophet or an angel or a righteous woman of the past, such as Maryam or Musa. But the problem which some scholars mention is the people specifying Ali radiallahu anhu and no one else, Umar, Abu Bakr, and they would just point out and select and pick out Ali radiallahu anhu with that statement, alayhi salam. So that's a discussion in itself right there. طيب. Did Imam Zuhayr ibn Harb, did he write that? Is that from the Nasikh? Allahu alam. That's an argument in itself with regards to who actually wrote alayhi salam. And oftentimes it's not necessarily the Imam or the author who says it. Oftentimes it's the Nasikh, the scribe, or one of the students. Allahu alam who said it. What's important is that that is a issue and a point of reflection and pondering. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Moving forward. It says here, قال أبو خيثمة يقول يشتري صحيفة بدرهم يكتب فيها العلم. The author, and this is a rare thing here in the book, he gives us a piece of commentary. Abu Khaythama rahimahullah, he says that what's meant by this athar and the previous athar, he says, who would buy a scroll? Who would buy a scroll for 1 dirham in which they could write down knowledge? طيب. So if he's encouraging the people to write down knowledge and to buy paper to write down knowledge, then of course there's going to be even other encouragements as well. Min bab awla, such as a book or any type of information, etc. خيرا. حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا وكيع عن ابن عون عن محمد أنه قال قلت لعبيدة أكتب ما سمعت قال لا. قلت إن وجدت كتابا أقرأه قال لا. Author 150 is from Waki', from Ibn Awn, from Muhammad, meaning Muhammad ibn Sirin, who said, I asked Abida, meaning Abida as-Salmani, another of the Tabi'een, and one of the narrators from Ali radiallahu anhu, should I write down what I hear? Muhammad ibn Sirin, he said no. I asked him, what if I find a book, a random scroll, narrations of hadith, should I read it? He said no. What's meant by this athar is the encouragement to memorize and the condemnation of relying upon that which is written, and the importance of tutelage and disciplism, studying under someone, training under someone, and avoiding teaching yourself. Avoiding teaching yourself. طيب. 151 it says حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا وكيع عن شريك قال سمعت شيخا فحليته فقالوا ذاك أبو ضمرة قال رأيت حمادا يكتب عند إبراهيم عليه كساء له أنبجاني ويقول والله ما نريد به دنيا. Moving forward. Says here, it's narrated from Waki' from Sharik. It's Athar 151. He says, I heard someone speaking, a muhaddith, and then I described him, and they said that is Abu Damra. Then I saw Hamad. Sheikh al-Bani rahimahullah says in the footnotes that Hamad here is Ibn Abi Sulaiman, and he was studying from Ibrahim al-Nakha'i, writing things down from him, and he was wearing some type of garment, some type of cloak, or some type of dress, as if the dress or the garment was some type of finery. And he said, Wallahi, we don't want no worldly material gain from this. Tayyib, this athar here shows us a few things with regards to studying, writing down knowledge, and with regards to dressing well. And that dressing well doesn't mean that a person is wishing to show off or to be seen or to be heard. And it doesn't necessarily mean that. Tayyib, the issue of writing down knowledge, writing down hadiths, we've explained in detail in several different lessons and lectures. Moving forward. أثر number 152 حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا وكيع قال حدثنا الحكم بن عطية عن ابن سيرين أنه قال كانوا يرون أن بني إسرائيل إنما ضلوا بكتب ورثوها. وكيع from Hakim ibn Atiyah from Muhammad ibn Sirin, who said كانوا يرون, they, meaning the earlier Salaf, those who came before him, they used to think and they used to believe that the Israelites, Banu Israel, only went astray because of books that they found. They only went astray because of books that they stumbled across and they found, i.e., then they start reading those books, memorizing those books, depending upon those books. And those books were not handed down from a trustworthy source. Those books were not dependable, reliable. Those books were not explained to them. There was no type of correct interpretation, explanation to them, etc. Also proving the argument of those who say that you should not be self-trained and a person should not just rely upon books, so on and so forth. Tayyib. Let's move forward now. It states حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا وكي عن طلحة بن يحيى عن أبي بردة قال كتبت عن أبي كتابا فظهر علي فأمر بمركا فقال بكتبي فيها فغسلها. 153 is reported from Waki' from Talha ibn Yahya from Abu Burda, who said that I wrote hadiths down from my father, meaning Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. And then my father, he saw them. He saw me what he saw me what I wrote down, and he called for a bucket or a tub to be brought, and he washed those. Moving forward. حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا وكيع عن عمران بن حدير عن أبي مجلز عن بشير بن نهيك قال كتبت عن أبي هريرة كتابا فلما أردت أفارقه قلت يا أبا هريرة إني كتبت عنك كتابا فأرويه عنك قال نعم irwihi anni. 154 is reported from Waki as well, from Imran ibn Hudayr, from Abi Mijlas, from Bashir or Bushair ibn Nuhayk or Nahik. Obviously, different ikhtilaf with regards to the dabt of the ism, musaghar amla. He says, I wrote things from Abu Hurairah. I wrote on hadiths that I heard from him, that I got from him. And when it was time to go, when it was time to leave, I asked Abu Hurairah, I explained to him that I wrote down these hadiths from him. Can I narrate them from you? He said, yes, narrate them from me. طيب. 155. حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا جرير عن مغيرة عن إبراهيم قال عبد الله إنكم لن تزالوا بخير ما دام العلم في ذوي أسنانكم فإذا كان العلم في الشباب أنفاذ السن أن يتعلم من الشباب أو من الشاب. Athar 155 is from Jarir, from Mughira, from Ibrahim, who said that I said to Abdullah, meaning Ibn Mas'ud, or Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he said to us, إنكم لن تزالوا بخير. He says, you guys will be okay. You'll be good. You'll be fine. Your affairs will be well, as long as knowledge is held and possessed by your elders. As long as knowledge is held and possessed by your elders. As far as when the youth have knowledge, the young people have knowledge, then you won't be as well, you won't be as good. And that's because older people will be too proud, too prideful to learn from the younger people. This athar shows us the importance of knowledge and fiqh being accompanied by respect and being accompanied by awe, being enshrouded in awe. Okay, and oftentimes, if not most times, in society and culture and tradition, that comes with age. A white beard, someone who's older, someone who's experienced in life, a sage, as they say. Not a young person who's still developing, still growing, or young people who are, it's a pre-assumption that they're going to be hasty and jumpy and skittish, immature, unsettled, unseasoned, unexperienced, etc. Alright? That's how things are in the world. طيب. So this is what Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala said to them. As far as the ruling of a younger person having knowledge and teaching knowledge and studying with that person, then that's not the place for this discussion. Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu is first and foremost is not the Prophet alayhi salam saying that it's haram, as we've explained before. Secondly, there were many other companions that were very young that had ilm and taught, such as Abdullah ibn Abbas. From the most prolific of them was Ibn Abbas, and he was a youngster. When the Prophet ﷺ died, Abdullah ibn Abbas, the scholars they say, was barely in puberty. He was barely pubescent, and he was a Habr al-Ummah, alright? And of course, this athar, like any other athar, it shouldn't be abused for one's agenda or for one's gain. Someone who doesn't like a person, whatever the reason why they don't like them, using this type of effort against them, as we've explained before, with regards to teaching people, being in front of the people, having money, looking nice, whatever the reason of a person trying to take down another individual, a sheikh, a scholar, a da'iyah. He's younger than me, I don't like him, so therefore Abdullah bin Mas'ud said, "Lan tazalu kada." This person, I don't like him, he has more money than me. These things should not be done. And alhamdulillah, we've explained this. طيب. Last but not least, many people who quote these types of athar and even some hadiths, whether they're authentic or not, with regards to young people having knowledge, youngsters having knowledge, and the knowledge has to be in the kibar, so on and so forth. Oftentimes, they don't realize that when you try to assassinate someone's character and remove them for a talent or a gift that they've been given by Allah or their hard work, it's not necessarily an attack on the young person, but in most cases, you're discrediting the older person. You're attacking the older people. You're showing their flaws and their errors, because if there was knowledge, if there was solid knowledge, concrete knowledge, if the people You yourself, if you were doing your job properly, if you had the knowledge, there would be no room for the young person. There would be no platform. No one would listen to him, because we have all the imams, all the scholars, all the du'ats. They're older, they're aged, they're seasoned, they're sages, and they're doing their job. There would be no place for that young, immature person that pops out, unless there's a void. There's a void, something's missing. Whereas we have older people who are not doing their job. Or we have older people who are Islamic leaders, but they don't have the knowledge. They're not as skilled, they're not as talented, they're not as hardworking, they're not as available. So many people who try to protect the ulama and give them status, oftentimes they are the ones who attack them and defame them and make them look bad in front of the people. So just be mindful of that subtle difference, right? Khairan, inshallah. Many men, when it comes to their wives, and they're having problems with their wives, and they get help, and they get counseling, and then they say, oh, brother Fulan, he destroyed my marriage. Brother Fulan, he took my wife from me. She fell in love with him, and so on and so forth, blah, 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 blah. And they use these statements to discredit the people. But in actuality, they're discrediting themselves. And that's because if you were doing your job, if you were a good husband, if you were a loving and affectionate husband, if you were providing for your wife, if you were doing your responsibilities, then there will be no room for someone to steal your wife and for you to become the innocent, harmless victim of this predatory imam. That's the narrative that they want to push upon the people. They stole my wife. How can they steal your wife from you? If you were doing your job, if you were doing the right thing, there will be no space for her to think about another man, for her to even I entertain the thought of another man if you were doing your job properly. So we all look for scapegoats in life, and we like to rely upon convenience and blame other people for our problems in life. And those who are outside of our circle, outside of our clique, outside of our acquaintances, we wish to blame them and demonize them. And we all know the power of nightmares. Not the power of dreams, but the power of nightmares. Creating the bad guy, creating the boogie monster, creating the villain, all right? And then bringing the hero to save the day. So this person is evil, he's disrespecting the scholars, he's warning the people against the scholars, he's trying to make himself the only scholar. This person has no respect for the elders, he's kada, and he's this, and he's that. But in actuality, what they're trying to do is they're embarrassed and they're ashamed of the void and of their lacking and of the things that they are not doing and they have not done and they're not addressing. And a young brother comes along and does it, now we have to demonize him. So that's evil. And we ask Allah to protect us from that. Ameen. أثر number 156. حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا الفضل بن دكين قال حدثنا الأعمش عن إبراهيم عن ألقمة أنه قال ما سمعته وأنا شاب فكأني أنظر إليه في قطاس أو ورقة. Abu Khaythama narrates from Al-Fadl ibn Dukain, from A'mash, from Ibrahim, who said, I heard from Alqama, Alqama and Ibrahim, obviously Alqama more, these are disciples of Ibn Mas'ud and others. He says that whatever I heard when I was young, as if I'm reading it on a piece of paper, as if it's in front of me on a piece of parchment or papyrus or an index card, i.e., Alqama, rahimahullah, here in this athar is praising himself. He's praising himself. And he's praising himself for the purpose of inspiring others. Okay? And showing and just being real. It's not about bragging and boasting. He's just saying what it is. My memory today is no less sharp than when it was yesterday. Allah bless me. His sharp mind. What I heard when I was a young fellow is like me reading on a piece of paper in my head today. Like a tablet in front of you. The strength of memory and the importance of the strength of memory for the talibul ilm. You have to have a strong memory. You have to have good memory. And obviously, one's memory sometimes is a gift. It's genetic, or the part of the world in which you're from, or your race, or your diet, or your environment. And other times, your memory is something which is worked on and honed and developed and strengthened. And of course, the best way is to have both. You naturally have a good memory, you're genetically made to be scholastic, but you work hard. And that is, alhamdulillah, that's the mark of the champion, as we know. The champions, the greats of sports and of the dunya, what they do is they do what? They do what? They have the natural talent, but they work hard. They don't just give up, but they work hard. They train, they develop themselves. Okay? So the people who have natural talent given to them by Allah, they're in the gym punishing themselves. Literally, the word punishing themselves. About to cry from the pain, the sweat, running laps, lifting weights, running up and down the steps. They're training. And that's how you become good. That's how you become excellent. So as a student of knowledge, you have to have the natural talent. You have to have potential. But you have to work hard. And your hard work has to be greater than your talent. And you can't rely upon your talent. But you actually have to study. You have to read. You have to memorize. You have to listen. You have to put in the necessary hours. And the necessary weeks, the necessary days, necessary months, necessary years, necessary decades. Wallahu ta'ala alam. حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا عبد الرحمن بن مهدي عن عبد العزيز بن أبي رواد عن عبد الله بن عبيد أنه قال العلم ضالة المؤمن كلما أصاب منه شيء حواه وابتغى ضالة أخرى. Athar 157 is reported from Abd al-Rahman ibn Mahdi from Abdul Aziz ibn Abi Rawad, who said that Abdullah ibn Ubaid said, he said, knowledge is the lost possession or the lost camel of the believer. It's the lost thing of the believer. كلما أصاب منه شيئا حواه. Whenever he finds something of his lost possession, hawahu, he embraces it, he hugs it, he puts it in his sack, he holds on to it, he doesn't let it escape again. وَابْتَغَى ضَالَةً أُخْرَى, and he looks for something else that he lost. Allahu Akbar. In other words, he's greedy for knowledge. He's greedy for wisdom. He can never get enough. He can never soak up enough knowledge, enough beneficial knowledge. And let us reflect on that, huh? And this also goes to show us that when it comes to knowledge, there should be no discrimination. There should be no discrimination. We should take the knowledge where we find it, where we get it from. طيب. Moving forward, 158. حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا جرير عن منصور عن إبراهيم قال كانوا يكرهون أن توطأ أعقابهم. 158 is very similar. It's from Jarir, from Mansur, from Ibrahim, who said that the earlier Salaf, they didn't like people to walk behind them. We explained that before in many classes and in this work as well. 159. حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا جرير عن منصور عن إبراهيم قال كانوا يجلسون ويتذاكرون العلم والخير ثم يتفرقون لا يستغفر بعضهم لبعض ولا يقول يا فلان ادع لي. 159 is related by Jarir from Mansur from Ibrahim, who said كانوا, they used to, meaning some of the bigger tabi'een, bigger salaf, greater, older salaf, and some of the sahaba perhaps, whenever they used to sit down, they would remind each other of knowledge, they would revise knowledge, they would review knowledge, wal khair, and good things. Knowledge and good things. Any type of positivity or wholesomeness. And then they would get up and they would leave, and they would not make istighfar for each other. Nor would they say to each other, make dua for me. They wouldn't say this. This athar here, wallahu alam, perhaps is understood in a context and in a climate and in an environment in which some people began to make this a tradition or a habit that whenever you get up from the majlis, you have to say something specific or something special, pray for someone specifically or specially, or say something. And Ibrahim Nakha'i here, as if he's saying the earlier Salaf in my town, my era, they didn't do that. طيب, moving forward. أثر 160. حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا عبد الرحمن عن سفيان عن منصور عن إبراهيم قال كانوا يقرؤون الكتاب. 160 is reported by Abd Rahman from Sufyan, from Mansur, from Ibrahim, who said they, meaning the earlier Salaf, used to dislike things being written down. طيب, we've explained that already. 161 is very similar as well. حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا جرير عن منصور عن إبراهيم قال لا بأس بكتاب الأطراف. Jarir narrates from Mansur, from Ibrahim, who said there's nothing wrong with writing down the beginning of the ahadith. In other words, to memorize the rest, like we previously explained. Khayr, inshallah. And this should show us, with regards to the style of the early scholars of hadith, is that many of them didn't find it problematic to repeat the hadith, to reiterate the hadith. There's nothing wrong with that. Mukarrar, like Bukhari has Mukarrarat and other books of hadith as well, and there are wisdoms in the Mukarrar. Imam Muslim has Mukarrar, there are wisdoms, but the repetitive hadith isn't always the same. It could be a different chain of narration, it could be a mutaba'ah, okay, it could be tasrih al-mudallis bis-sama' or al-an'ana, etc. Al-ulu, al-nuzul, khasa'is isnadiyya, lata'if isnadiyya. There are different secrets in them repeating hadiths. And sometimes it's just more, or some cases it's just reinforcement. They're reinforcing what they previously explained. And there are other times in which it is, they're giving you what they got. They're presenting you what they heard and how they heard it, so on and so forth. طيب, khairan inshallah ta'ala. We'll stop here at that athar. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to allow us to follow the way of these people, bidnillahi ta'ala, and implement it. Wallahu ta'ala alam.